I know you read the title. Yes. Kyle Kuzma an All-Star.
Hey now, you're an all-star.
The All-Star break, the All-Star game, one of the greatest parts of NBA basketball. Everyone's been waiting for it. I know, you don't need to complain, you don't need to ask for it anymore. Who do I think makes the All-Star game? Who are the, what's 5 plus 7 plus? That's it, 5, 7, isn't it? 5 plus 7 times 2, that's 24. Who are the 24 players that make my All-Star? So, let's go straight into it. Starters for the East. In the East, at the point guard position, I have Kyrie Irving. Most points in the fourth quarter right now. He's been incredibly clutch. He's been beautiful, he's been holding it down while Kevin Durant is injured. And he's been making big time shots, big time plays, even with the whole controversy that the NBA wants to throw on him. He's still 100% a locked in All-Star starter. Next to him in the backcourt, I have the best shooting guard in the league. Dropped 71 points, averaging above 25 points per game this season. Donovan Mitchell. There's nothing else to say. He's the best shooting guard in the league. Dropped 71 points in the game. He's an All-Star starter. For forwards is where it gets tricky because there's 4 forwards good enough to be starters, but I can only take 3. All 4 of them are MVP candidates, so it's quite tricky. And I will 100% use bias into account, and even though he's averaging 32 points per game, Joel Embiid is not an All-Star starter. My 3 in the forward line are Jason Tatum, Kevin Durant, Giannis Antetokounmpo. 3 MVP candidates, 3 All-Star starter forwards. And then the All-Star do this thing where they have 7 reserves. They have 2 forwards, 2 guards, 3 forwards, and then they have 2 wild card players. So in my 2 guards off the bench, I have Jaylen Brown and Tyrese Halliburton. Tyrese Halliburton has been ridiculous. He's leading the league in assists right now. He's leading a Pacers team right now, even though they dropped to the play-in since he got injured, but he's leading them right now, on track to be in the playoffs. Jaylen Brown is the best second man in basketball right now. The Celtics have the best offense of all time right now, and he's helping lead Jason Tatum and that team to maybe make it in NBA Finals again. My 3 forwards in the East are Julius Randle, Bam Adebayo, and Pascal Siakam. Pascal Siakam is having an all-NBA level season right now. Even though the Raptors aren't doing great, you can't stop Spicy P. Julius Randle has had a reinvention of himself. It's not a reinvention, he plays exactly the same way, but he's knocking down a few more shots, and I needed to have a player from the Knicks in. I needed to have a player from the Knicks in there. Sorry, Jalen Brunson. Next, maybe next. And my 2 wild card players are Trae Young and Kyle Kuzma. Cool, we all know why Trae Young's in. But Kyle Kuzma has been the Wizards' best player. Even though Kristaps Porzingis, it comes across like he's been the best player due to points and statistics. Kyle Kuzma is our clutch player. If we're down by 3 points, the game on the line, Kyle Kuzma gets the
5 seconds separating shot clock and game clock. 2 former Lakers going one-on-one. Here's Kuzma off the screen. Kuzma fade away. Oh, he hit it! Kyle Kuzma!
Not Bradley Beal, not Kristaps Porzingis, Kyle Kuzma. The impact Kyle Kuzma has on our team is impressive. He might even get traded by the end of the season because of his contract. But Kyle Kuzma, he's the one. He needs to be in this All-Star game solely due to impact, because we would be like 4-44 right now if it wasn't for Kyle Kuzma. If there's an injury replacement, then Jimmy Butler can come in, and if there's an injury replacement after that, Jalen Brunson. But that is my East. Let's move on to the West. In the West, at my guard position, obviously we have Luka Doncic first. Easily one of the best 3 players in the league right now. Probably top 2 in the MVP race right now, with him and Nikola Jokic going back and forth. At the other guard position, it is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I know some people could say Steph Curry, but he's missed too many games. Look at Shai's defensive impact, his offensive impact, his efficiency, especially inside the paint for a guard, is amazing. I've got to start Shea. Even though he's on a losing team, it's the All-Star game, it's not all NBA. Chill out. In my forward positions, it's pretty routine. I have LeBron James, obviously. I have Zion Williamson, who's had a big bounce back year. If we had a bounce back player of the year, probably give it to Zion Williamson. Or maybe even Kyrie Irving. But Zion Williamson has been amazing when he's not been injured, and the Pelicans really miss him right now. And finally, for me, the MVP right now, I have Nikola Jokic in the center position, or the third forward position in the All-Star West starting team. Now, in my reserves is where it gets a little bit more tricky. It's players like Anthony Edwards that should make it in, but it's too jam-packed. My first guard is obviously Stephen Curry, having an all-time season for him, amazing. He's missed a few games, he missed a whole month of gameplay, and he's just come back a couple games ago, but he's still been elite. He cooked the Wizards the other day, sadly. My other guard position is Ja Morant, who's leading a Grizzlies team. I thought they'd fall off a little bit, but nah, not a chance, not with Ja Morant and JJJ, Jaren Jackson Jr., who I think has had one of the best defensive seasons this season so far. So I think he's probably my front runner for DPOI. I'll tell you a small fact about Jaren Jackson Jr. I know he's not an all-star, I shouldn't go on tangents because I want this to be a short video. But Jaren Jackson Jr., when he was injured, the Grizzlies had the worst defense in the NBA. Since he's come back, and I'm not talking like since he's come back, they've been the best defense in the league. But I'm saying over the whole season, they have the best defensive rating, and he only came back a couple months ago. And he's turned them from the worst defensive team in the league to the best defensive team, just from his presence. That's my DPOI. For my All-Star reserves in the West forwards, I have Lauri Markkanen, who's having an amazing season, and it's in Utah. You might as well give him an All-Star appearance. It's in Utah, he's having a great season. The Jazz are a lot better than we expected them to be, and it's mainly because of him. I have Anthony Davis, who was, before he got injured, was having an amazing season, no question. And third, I have Domantas Sabonis, who with the Kings has had a great season, no question of it. So yeah, that is my reserve. Let's move on to the wild cards. In my first wild card position, he's better than a wild card position, but he's been injured for quite a while and his team has suffered because he's been injured. But I have Devin Booker. Devin Booker has to be an all-star, even though he has been injured, he has to be an all-star. So got to stick Devin Booker in there, having a great season, dropping bucket after bucket after bucket. I know I said that he was better than Donovan Mitchell, but I take that back, I'm sorry. But he's still second best shooting guard in the league, and that's good enough right now. My second reserve is, I know it's another guard, but it's Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard is dragging the Portland Trail Blazers by their heels, trying to pull them into a playoff, averaging 29 points. It's his team. Again, it happens every year. We always say it, but his team is letting him down again, but it's got to be Damian Lillard. If there's an injury, Paul George can come in. That's the one player I think I can name off the top of my head that stands a chance of coming in based on an injury. He's had a good season, Paul George. Only played about 30 games, but he still had a pretty good season. And the Clippers are doing pretty all right as well. So those are my all-star selections. I know I'm right. It's okay. You don't need to argue with me. You don't even need to comment it below, but understand that I'm 100% right. And my all-star selections will be the all-star team we see in the NBA. Remember to include Kyle Kuzma in your teams. But still, NBA, Adam Silver, people that are voting, you need Kyle Kuzma in the all-star game. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I know it was a short one, but I'll see you in a bit. Boom.